Adastra is a sci-fi political adventure with cosmic horror elements and gay romance intended for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Previously on Adastra.
You know, Cassius was saying something earlier while I was serving him about a week ago. Did you know he has plans to get rid of the triumvirates? Alex's eyes widened for a moment.
Oh, really? I wonder why.
Amicus and I stare in surprise as Cassius stares back at us, with what looks like even more surprise.
What the hell are you doing in here, Cassius?
Not much of your business, is it?
Snooping around to find something that might give you a chance in the trial? I can tell you now that you'll be coming up short.
Obviously. You've nothing to offer to help me win.
A few minutes later, Amicus is flat on his stomach, looking under his bed as he mumbles something under his breath. What are you doing?
Looking for whatever Cass might have been doing.
You know what he was doing?
Well, I'm not sure, but a recording device, possibly. Or he was just snooping for information.
Amicus, what's going to happen if you lose this next trial?
Again, don't worry.
I know you don't think it can happen, but if it does, what happens to me?
First of all, I won't have you worrying about Cassius's words.
Amicus, you bastard! Tail-raising lover of ass! I'll throw you both in the dungeon for that! I'll have him executed when I'm emperor!
What he said was out of anger. And besides, I'll have measures in place to stop it from ever happening.
What measures?
I'm not fully sure of that yet, but I will have them in place by the time the next trial comes. Very good measures.
He leans down fully, pressing his lips to mine in a kiss. So... what was that? Like a child, Amicus looks away toward the lake, not saying anything. Talk to me.
What is there to say?
A lot. I'm kinda confused, honestly.
I like you, Marco. Quite a bit, in fact.
I know, I like you too. Everything's just so messed up and complicated.
Yes, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kissed you.
Maybe not. But... I liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm still sorry, though. I should have asked, or not done it.
You're fine.
So, if you're fine with it, did you want to date me?
Amicus says the foreign word very carefully, and for a moment, the linguist skips a beat in its steady translation, allowing him to speak the word unfiltered. I'll think about it over the next few days, then let you know. Amicus smiles a little.
Okay.
Our relationship after that conversation is strange, to say the least. While it felt meaningful at the time, I realized later that we didn't really get anywhere except once again admit to the feelings we'd been having over the past few weeks. Should I just confess my feelings to Amicus and close the awkward gap between us? I know it's weighing on his mind. Maybe asking him out will give him that boost that he needs to win. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself, but I realize that it is something that I want to do. And if I'm going to do it, it's probably best to do it before the trial, to set his mind at ease. As I start to feel myself getting cold feet, I just reach up to the panel, pressing it, deciding to just throw myself into this.
Oh, Amicus, you're amazing!
The scene I come upon is probably the last one I would have ever expected. But then any will to smooth over the situation somehow, make a joke of it even, leaves me. Somehow, I feel even worse than I had when I left the throne room in disgrace after the dance. The door slides open, and the next thing I know, I'm jogging out into the hall. As I do, I hear Amicus struggling for words.
Marco, wait! Marco, I need to talk about...
You don't need to explain it. It's none of my business.
Well, it is.
It's definitely not! I snap at the wolf, Who you fuck is none of my business. That's all up to you. Don't let me tell you who you can and can't be with. I guess it's just a little fucked up that you confessed your feelings 2 days ago, and then suddenly you're just fucking another guy.
That's not what happened, and if you'll let me explain...
Then what did I just see?
What you saw, it was more of a transaction than anything.
What, of cum? Amicus chokes in surprise.
Well, yes, I guess, but I made a deal with the Chameleon.
What deal? The wolf pauses. What?
I realize now that I should have consulted you on this, but it was my only immediate option.
What option?
Well, while Cassius might be willing to execute my pet, he wouldn't dare touch the pet of a Chameleon.
What?
If I were to lose the second trial, I made it so that your ownership would transfer to Neferu. You'd become his pet. This would ensure that Cassius would not dare come after you. If he did, it might upset the very delicate relations we have with the Chameleons.
Amicus. Again with him doing things without even telling me. No conversation, no warning, no consideration. After all this time, he still doesn't see me as an equal. I'm just a stupid primate to you, aren't I?
What?
I told you before to just talk to me if you're planning something that involves me. Why couldn't you have at least given me a warning, especially for something like this?
No, I've been so busy. Not to mention negotiating these things is complicated. I'm just trying to do what's best for you.
Without really thinking about me, or how I might feel about any of this.
I'm always thinking about you, every damn hour of the day, and this is on top of the trials. Believe it or not, Marco, I'm stretched a bit thin, and it would be helpful if you could work with me.
Work with you how? Let you manipulate me into becoming your boyfriend, then watch you fuck another guy so I can become his slave instead? I've been pretending, but now it could actually become official!
Manipulate? Marco, I will not have you accusing me of such a thing. I was more honest with you on the island than I have been with anyone in years.
But not about what just happened with Neferu.
What, you think I owe you celibacy? We're not dating, and you refuse to do anything with me. It may come as a surprise to you, but even in times like these, I have needs.
So you did want it. I may not know how these things work on Earth, but you know how they work on Adastra. You said yourself that these matters are casual. What happened with the jackal means nothing to me. You mean so much to me, which is why I did it to keep you safe. If you actually cared about me, you'd care about what I want. You keep telling me how smart I am, but here we are again with you doing stuff without any of my input because you think I'm too stupid to understand.
No!
You know, you wolves are all the same. We're all just stupid barbarians to you. You don't treat me as an equal, you look down on me. And why the fuck would I want to be with someone like that?
That is not even.
Just win your stupid trial and send me home. If you don't, just blast my stupid ape ass off into space. I don't want to be here anymore. I turn, heading for the door.
Wait, please!
Whatever he was going to say suddenly cuts off as I hear a loud thud.
Ah!
I don't look back to see what he kicked or punched. Instead, I head out into the hall, not sure at all of where I'm going. I just know that I hate everything about what just happened. The sound of the door opening jolts me awake, and I quickly sit up, turning to look. Amicus! I stare at the jackal for a moment, feeling a sudden surge of anger in my chest. Hello, Marco. Are you not coming to the trial? What time is it? The 7th hour, which means the trial starts in less than an hour. Where's Amicus? Preparing for the trial. He hasn't been back all night. He was meditating most of the night. What do you want? To escort you to the trial, if you'd like. And to also talk. About what? I've already told you that you don't need to play stupid with me, Marco. I'm not. I'm just wondering why the fuck you have the nerve to show up here after taking advantage of Amicus like that. What? Well, that's certainly a way to look at it. What other way is there to look at it? Plenty. If you'll let me explain. Amicus approached me about this deal a week ago, shortly after the incident with Cassius. It seemed simple enough, and I had to agree with him. Your position in this power struggle is becoming ever more precarious. The rumors about Cassius's intent to disband the triumvirates have saturated the trial, even though Cato has banned all discussion of it. Word is that Cassius has realized who might have started the rumors. This has implications for you, obviously, but not only because you possibly sabotaged his chances at the throne. I feel my stomach turn a little, realizing I've gotten myself into way more than I'd ever intended. This also brings into question your intelligence. Far too intelligent for a simian, wouldn't you say? Now, with all of this considered, it was only natural for Amicus to come to me for help. Your life is in danger, Marco, no matter the facade these peaceful palace halls might project. He asked me what I wanted most, and I answered truthfully. An alliance with the wolves of Amicus were to become emperor. Of course, he declined outright, as he should have as the prospective emperor. How could he promise something so important with so many implications all over one pet? So, knowing that was impossible, I offered something a bit more selfish on my part. Copulation with the handsome son of a wolven emperor. To this, he only needed a few moments to agree. I grimace. But I want you to understand something, Marco. If Amicus had found even that disagreeable, I would have simply asked for nothing. It is the duty of all Chemians to protect any sapient fleeing wolven violence, whether they be sibling, child, or abandoned. Pet ownership is illegal where I'm from, and the idea is quite disgusting. Don't you agree? But wolves love their contracts, and no matter how different Amicus might wish himself to be, he is still a wolf. He despises the idea that he might owe something to a Chemian. And his quickness to accept the deal showed me that despite how much he wanted to not want to, fuck me, as you put it, there was a part of him that did. In the end, he was willing. I look away, frowning. And I think this is something that has caused a rift between the two of you. You must understand that sex is casual here. It means nothing more than indulging in our corporeal desires. It's one of the few cultural similarities we share with the wolves. Even if he wants to, which I believe he does, Amicus can't change his philosophy over the course of a single week. You're acting like we're in a relationship or something. You aren't, but you want to be. Amicus loves you. It's clear as Vita, as they say here. I feel that little thrill in my chest, and my face blushes furiously. Now, does that clear things up for you? Even though I just woke up, I'm already feeling exhausted. I guess. There was a little more to it than that, though. Which I'm sure can be settled in the future. Civil discussions can do wonders. Where are we going? To meet the star of the most asinine entertainment show in the galaxy. What better way to determine the fate of all things, siblings and parents alike, than through meaningless wolven spectacle? What? Neferu pauses in front of a door, gently pulling away from me while his paw is held delicately up to the panel. What I'm saying is that quite a bit is depending on your wolf right now, and he might need some encouragement. We both stare at each other for a moment. Then the wolf is suddenly on his feet, stumbling toward me. Are you okay?
Marco.
I stop, waiting. The pause is long, and when Amicus finally speaks, his voice is so quiet I can barely hear it.
I don't think I was meant for this.
My heart sinks. Meant for what?
Everything in this damned empire. I've done absolutely nothing right. Everything has been handed to me on a platter my entire life, but the first time I actually have to fight for something. I know you don't think I took this seriously, but I did. I tried. I wasn't prepared, and you were right. I see a little wetness around his eyes, but he aggressively wipes at them with an arm. While weeks ago I might have welcomed this epiphany, this is the absolute worst moment for it. I couldn't even keep my best friend. I would have been a terrible emperor.
It takes me a moment to realize that he's talking about me. Amicus.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't tell you everything. That I treated you poorly. That I got you into this stupid mess in the first place. and that I can't get you out of it. I just wanted to do what was best for you, but I wasn't thinking of you while I did it. I was inconsiderate, and I'm sorry.
Seeing the wolf like this, it hurts, but it also makes me kind of angry. This isn't the Amicus I know. I reach up, setting a hand on his shoulder, and he suddenly looks up at me. You're less than an hour away from becoming the Emperor. You need to act like it.
What?
You are such a good person. Basically the opposite of what this society is. And you want to put that into your rule. That's amazing. But now you're suddenly willing to give up? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, you made a bunch of mistakes. But that doesn't matter now. What matters is that you make sure that piece of shit brother of yours doesn't take the throne. So you better get your ass out there and beat the hell out of him in this stupid debate. After a moment, I realize the wolf is smiling at me, and it takes me a moment to calm down from my Hollywood movie pep talk.
I am going to go out there, Marco. There's no doubt about that. I was just having a moment. I was trying to be more honest with you, but thank you.
Well, I forgive you, but this is a lot bigger than us right now.
I know it is. And what I'm feeling is a lot bigger than us as well. But I'm honest about what I said. I'm sorry, and I will never do anything involving you without your consultation again. And I will take your cultural differences into better consideration in the future.
I look up at Amicus, at his earnest face, and I find myself hugging him. And he hugs back tightly.
All right, I'm on my way to a shower.
I'll be watching. The rhetoric thing, I mean.
I'll look for you, and we'll talk after this?
Yeah, we'll talk after your Emperor.
All right.
Shall we head to the throne room? They'll be wanting us sitting down early so they can film us. The whole thing is a dreary spectacle, after all. All right. With that, I follow the jackal toward the throne room, hoping that what I'd said to Amicus is enough to get him in the right headspace to help him win. In just a few hours, I'll know if I'll be leaving soon, or staying for a long, long time. Either way, I'm just glad that this happened. Chapter 11. The Second Trial. I followed Neferu to the throne room, the cavernous space just as empty as it was during the first trial. Like the first trial, though, a few of the palace regulars are sitting on the benches. Virginia on the left side of the room, while Alex sits on the right. The cat is sat alone, looking tiny compared to the rest of the room, his tail curled neatly under his paws in his lap. He smiles when he sees me, and I make as if to go sit next to him. But that's when the jackal grabs my hand. I pause, and I see Alex's own inquisitive look before I turn to Neferu. What? Why don't we give Virginia some company? The jackal smiles at me gently, one of his ears flicking in the direction of the she-wolf. You can. I was going to go sit with Alex. Neferu's expression doesn't change, but he doesn't let go either, and his voice takes on a gentle but ominous tone, making me feel a little uncomfortable. Depending on how this trial goes, we may have some business to take care of before it officially ends. It would be best if you are close to me. It's then that I realize what he's getting at. Although I don't know what the process of becoming Neferu's pet is, I imagine it involves some sort of official business, like signing something. So, I give Alex a little frown and shrug, gesturing at the jackal. The cat continues to look confused as I turn away and follow Neferu to the benches on the other side of the room. Neferu? Virginia sits daintily on the bench, one leg elegantly crossed over the other as she holds up a paw, which the jackal kisses. Good day to you, Virginia. Even though I try to stay behind Neferu, Virginia peers around the jackal's muscular side to stare straight at me. I see you've brought a guest. She holds out her paw again, and it takes me a moment to realize that I should kiss it. I did start that trend, after all. Indeed, Amicus requested I keep him company during the trial. As I come up from the paw kissing, I see Virginia frowning. My brother shouldn't be burdening you with a silly chore like that. The pet is capable of staying in his room, I imagine. It was a mutual agreement. Besides, he is rather good company once you get to know him. Oh, really? It seems our little simian is full of surprises. The she-wolf looks pointedly at me, and I don't have much time to wonder what she's talking about before Neferu is sitting down next to her, pulling me to his side to sit next to him. That would be an accurate observation. There's a momentary pause before I see Virginia lean forward a bit out of the corner of my eye. When she speaks again, her voice is lowered. So, the rumors are true? There's another pause, this time from Neferu. I don't believe I'm in a position to speculate on that. It is not my place to involve myself in woven politics. Virginia laughs softly, one that sounds completely fake. I'm not a fool, Neferu. I may enjoy your suave tactics, but I'd rather you not use them against me. I would not dream of such a thing, Virginia. Surely. Virginia shifts again, and now I know for sure that she's looking directly at me. So, I suppose he understands what we're saying, then? Well, he is sapient, and he does possess a lingua. I mean, he understands us. Virginia puts even more emphasis on the word. I see Neferu looking at the floor, still smiling, though his paws seem to clasp each other a bit tighter than usual. You'd know better than I, being a wolf. Our children are as intelligent as ourselves, so I'm used to such an idea. Don't feign ignorance, Neferu. You've been around him far more than I have. It's a simple question, and one that you should answer honestly. Otherwise, am I to assume that you've brought a little spy to our conversation? Although the words seem harsh and dangerous, Virginia's tone is light, and Neferu just laughs. You accuse me of deception? Yet we both know you've already figured out the answer. Why do you feign ignorance? The wolf fans herself with an air of nonchalance. It's the best weapon in discourse, and it's easy to feign stupidity. At least it is for me. It is expected on my part. And why would you say something like that? I have a vagina, Neferu. It takes me a moment to absorb what Virginia just said, but Neferu is already chuckling with what's probably the first genuine laugh of the conversation. I see Alex look over at us again, and this time it looks like his eyes are narrowed a bit. It takes the jackal a few seconds to get himself under control again, as Virginia continues to wave her fan, looking rather pleased with herself. Sorry, I'm not used to bluntness here. It's not impossible for us to be blunt on this moon, Neferu, especially amongst friends. I notice the wolf is looking at me again, and once again, I look down. Anyway, it seems we made quite the mistake in overlooking Samia. I may have to do a little research of my own in the archives. Amicus clearly knew something that we did not. Research? I feel my stomach drop. Although Amicus had assured me of things, I don't even know if I really look like a simian. All it might take is a picture to know that I'm not actually from Samia. I try to put that thought out of my mind for now, as the doors suddenly open, and Cato walks in, making his way quickly to the throne. Virginia finally takes her eyes off of me, and I can only hope that she's not going to follow through on her research plans. The throne room is so quiet that I hear the old wolf grunt as he makes his way up the stairs, before turning to face us. After a few seconds, he sits down, his heavy, muscular body slouched a bit in his seat, gazing out at us through his visor. A few more moments pass in silence, and just as I'm wondering if the trial is going to begin, I hear a soft, mechanical whirring sound as the panel in the ceiling opens up. A dozen camera drones drift down lazily, fanning out in the air to position themselves in various locations throughout the room. One of them floats towards us and hovers just above our heads, the lens seeming to focus on my face. I drop my head again, the action having become second nature since I landed on this moon. Neferu nudges me, though. "Come now, Amicus brought you here to be seen." His tone is light as always, but I sense he's not saying that just to tease me. We're all playing a role here, and my role is to make Amicus look good, to show off to the triumvirates that he went to great lengths to obtain an exotic, fascinating alien pet. I might not like it, but that doesn't matter right now. So, I lift my head. Instead of the dumb, vacant gaze I'd been using this past month, I go with a completely straight face. "Watch the red light on the top of the drone. When it turns green, know that you are being broadcast."
The second trial will begin in 10 seconds.
With that, the lights slowly dim, and everything goes completely silent. I just sit there, looking toward the throne, Cato sitting as motionless as an ancient Roman sculpture. Then, the doors open, and we all look over, including the cameras. In walk Amicus and Cassius, side by side. They must have been waiting out there next to each other. I have to wonder what they must have been like. Without a word, the two of them walk up the broad, carpeted aisle, in sync with each other. I stare intently at Amicus as he passes, just in case he looks at me, and I can give him an encouraging smile. He looks straight ahead, though, a more serious expression on his face than I've ever seen. Everything stays quiet, the only sound being the muffled shuffling of their padded feet and claws on the carpet. Once they reach the foot of the stairs, they come to a stop before they both bow deeply to Cato. This lasts a few seconds, before Cato finally shifts again, breaking the illusion that he was made out of stone.
Very good. You may proceed.
With that, the two brothers straighten back up before walking up the steps, splitting off to stand to either side of the acting emperor. They turn around and face us, both standing at attention, arms straight down at their sides. A drone levitates down from the ceiling, coming to a gentle stop mid-air in front of Cato. I notice the tiny red light on the top of the drone turn green, and the old wolf fixes his eyes on the camera.
Welcome to the Trial of Rhetoric. Rhetoric has long been a staple of Wolven civilization, and one of our greatest assets. While known for our strength and tenacity, so too are we known for our use of words in negotiation.
Neferu snorts next to me, loud enough that I wonder if Cato was able to hear it. I hope not.
This is why it is not only important that we honor the art and history of debate today, but also prove our ability to use it well. Being a competent rhetorician is essential to being a competent emperor. Remember the rules. You will have the floor for 20 minutes. Do not reference your challenger. Now, Amicus?
I see the slightest of twitches in Amicus's frame as he continues to stare ahead.
Yes, Emperor. Please, honor Adastra and proceed to the floor. Offer your policies through the art of speech.
There's a slight pause, then Amicus makes his way down the stairs. If he's nervous, which I know that he is, he's not showing it at all. His movement's calm and reserved. He walks several paces forward, away from the stairs to stand in the middle of the aisle, just slightly ahead of me. He's so close, and I wish I could just say something. Get up and give him a hug and tell him that he's going to do great. But I know that time's passed, that the moment that everything has been building up to has just arrived. It's a strange feeling, watching something that's going to have such a huge impact on your life, but not being able to participate at all. I can only hope that Amicus is ready. He begins to speak, and when he does, it's not like his usual voice. Instead, it's deeper, broader, sonorous, I guess. Actually, it's closer to human singing.
20 millennia ago, we were chosen by the Romanos. Out of 1,000 species, they chose us. And was that not for a reason?
He's moving his arms and paws a lot too, in broad, sweeping motions. It's not unlike the dance, though he mostly stays in the same spot.
15 millennia ago, we rejected them. We became the first abandoned sibling, and our empire entered a decline of the lights that we had never seen before. Closing off relations with siblings, losing children, losing resources.
A drone floats around his body, and I can tell that he's playing up the performance to it, dramatically gesturing with overly exaggerated expressions. I realize that it's like I'm watching those dramas I've seen on Adastran television.
We fell long and hard, as if our very moon was sucked into the pit. 5,000 years of misery and desolation. 5,000 years until Drusus saved us all.
Amicus goes on to describe the history that I had a vague knowledge of. How Drusus re-established contact with the parents, reunited the Wolven Empire, and renamed the world Adastra, a name that represented everything the Empire stood for.
Since then, we've spread far and wide across the galaxy, found lost children, established roads to resources our moon desperately needed. But what we found to be most valuable? Rekindling diplomatic relations with the other siblings. With them, we shared knowledge and wealth, establishing ourselves as true siblings once again. Until the war. While our reasons were sound for initiating the conflict, the sudden and unexpected attack frightened the other siblings, leaving them to abandon us once more. We defended our rights and our dignity from the Cameans.
Oh, Ahotep. Neferu mutters that under his breath, thankfully.
But at a great cost. Our empire has suffered for our victory, but there is a way to reverse this.
I don't know if the wolf is doing a good job, since I have no point of reference. But as far as I can tell, he seems to be doing great. No stuttering or stumbling, is acting pretty good. Especially if I'm comparing him to the dramatic actors I've seen on the screens. His movements are powerful, but elegant, just like his voice. And I find myself beaming with a sense of pride that I've never had for someone else before. He goes on to describe the policies he'd already told me about. Reestablish relations with the siblings, fully uplift the children, reshape their role in the Empire.
And the first step?
Amicus suddenly turns to face us, though his gaze is on Neferu.
An alliance, one that has been proposed by the Cameans. This may seem like a worrying prospect to you. It has never been done in the history of the Galaxius. But I can promise that while Emperor, I will demand respect and equal treatment from the Cameans. Their arrogance will be tamed, and Wolven dignity will be restored.
The light on the camera drone in front of us is green, broadcasting our image to the entirety of Adastra. I'm at least glad that Neferu is able to control his eye rolling right now.
Within the course of my rule, I will place Adastra on the same pedestal as all the other siblings, if not higher. No longer will we be the half-sibling of the Galaxius. No. We will once again stretch beyond our system, beyond our quadrant, and yes, eventually beyond the galaxy.
Amicus points to the ceiling.
As Drusus proclaimed 10 millennia ago, to the stars. So I say now, to the stars and beyond!
Amicus pauses dramatically in that pose, then bows before turning and walking back to the throne.
Thank you, Amicus. Cassius?
I let out a breath, watching as Amicus makes his way up the steps, passing Cassius as his brother makes his way to the same spot on the floor. So that's it. Amicus's part is done. Now it's Cassius's turn, and I watch as he walks to the same spot, an angry scowl on his face. It's angrier than usual, almost furious, and I wonder if he's upset about how well Amicus had done. But then he starts speaking, and I realize it's part of his show.
For 300 years, our empire has been in shambles.
I jump, and I even feel Neferu tense up next to me as the White Wolf practically screams.
Not because of the war, not because we chose a different path. No, this is because of Drusus and his flawed vision of the Galaxius as a whole. My brother was right about one thing. Adastra is the lowest of the low amongst the siblings, the laughingstock of the entire galaxy.
No reference to Amicus, Cassius.
Cato barks from across the throne room, but the other wolf ignores him, swiping his paw through the air, his movements aggressive and violent.
Enough of being the butt of jokes, of being spat upon, of being considered at the level of mere children. It is time for Adastra to once again be respected, revered, and feared, just like before Drusus.
Cassius' speech goes on like that, describing Adastra in terms that make it sound like the worst place in the galaxy to be. I don't know if this is good or not. He's definitely being way more intense than Amicus was, and if that's the goal, then I'm worried. I glance over at Neferu and Virginia, and the troubled looks on their faces tell me that I should be even more worried.
I look up toward the throne, but Amicus is as still and straight-faced as ever.
I feel myself start to sweat, wondering if this is the beginning of the end.
My brother stated that the war was responsible for our sudden decline. A decline not so sudden when it's been happening for thousands of years. No, that war was the best thing that could have ever happened to this empire. It showed that we were unafraid, unintimidated by the most powerful force in the galaxy. We were mocked and laughed at openly before the war. Now, those laughs are quieter, behind dainty paws as our siblings realize just how dangerous we can be. They take us seriously now.
Cassius turns his angry gaze on us.
But not seriously enough. Look who they sent to propose this alliance that my brother spoke of.
No reference to Amicus, Cassius.
But Cato is quieter now, as if he knows he can't stop the young wolf. Our camera light turns green, and I once again get the feeling that the broadcast is displaying Neferu.
The one and only flower of Camilla. The pharaoh's faggot son with his oils and perfumes, stinking up the halls of our palace.
I glance up at Neferu, but his expression has hardly changed, though I see a hint of a smirk on his lips. Meanwhile, Virginia is hiding a look of shock, or horror, or both behind her fan.
This alliance is highly suspect, and I must wonder what is really going on during these negotiations. Actually, let me give you an idea.
Cassius makes a sort of signal with his paw, then pauses. Everything is silent for a moment, and looking at the cameras, none of them are green. I look around at the others, and can tell that they're confused as well.
What are you broadcasting, Cassius?
Cassius doesn't even turn around to acknowledge Cato.
Just showing a small video clip.
Of what?
I see Amicus bristling next to Cato, and I feel the hair standing up on my own neck.
Of a traitorous act between my brother and the flower jackal.
Oh, Amicus, you're amazing. What?
Amicus is so puffed out he looks almost twice his natural size.
What are you doing? Yes, Cassius, what are you doing? Cato, he bugged my room!
Amicus starts to move, but Cato reaches out from his throne to hold him back.
Stay there, brother. It's almost over. And don't worry, it's censored.
Cassius sneers back at Amicus before the red light on his drone suddenly turns green again. Cassius stares at the lens for a moment, letting the silence drag out for dramatic effect.
Shocking, is it not? I already described the flower of Camilla. Do we also want the flower of Adastra to be our emperor?
Time, Cassius.
Cato's voice is soft, sounding almost astonished. Amicus is clearly having a much harder time keeping his emotions in check now. Even from this distance, I can see him working his jaw. But Cassius doesn't seem to be finished.
And let me leave you with this.
Time, Cassius! Yield the floor!
No, I will not yield! Adastra is the one out of time! This empire is stretched thin, and the Tailraiser proposes that we stretch even further! When do we break?
Cassius whirls around and points a finger at Amicus.
He looks toward the children and the siblings while completely ignoring us!
Cassius's bristled fur slowly starts to lay down again, the wolf making a show of trying to get himself under control again.
So, let me leave you with this. While campaigning in the outskirts of Adastra City, areas my brother completely neglected, I came across a young child with the same disease that afflicts me.
Cassius's voice becomes much more quiet, gentle, lowering his muzzle a bit to stare at the floor.
Unlike me, she had no medication to speak of because her poor, farming family could not afford it. She was bound to a wheelchair, her bones so frail that something as simple as a bath causes them to dislocate and break.
Cassius's voice catches, and to my surprise, I see a tear slide down his cheek.
How dare this empire let our people fall into such a state that we cannot even care for our own people? I'm hearing that even now, we can't afford to vaccinate those beyond our glittering city!
Cassius looks back up at the camera.
It may seem as if we cannot hear you past the walls of this palace. But I hear you. I promise to always hear you. I will not cater to the needs and wants of the siblings or children, to the Adastra City elites or officials.
Cassius sweeps a paw dramatically to his chest.
Not to the stars, but to you, the people of the Empire! Thank you.
Cassius bows low to the camera before turning to walk back to the throne. There's a long moment of silence as we all stare at the White Wolf. Then Com's voice crackles over our heads.
Triumvirates, make your decisions.
Suddenly, I feel something grasp me around the wrist and look down to see Neferu's furry black paw holding onto me.
Marco, very quietly, we are going to get up and head to my room. We'll move around the back so that the cameras do not see.
Why?
Because what Amicus had feared is about to...
The Triumvirates have made their decisions.
I see Neferu's eyes widen in surprise.
Already?
He seems to say it to himself, but he stands and I have to stand with him as he starts to walk up the aisle, toward the back of the room, pulling me along with him. I look back at Amicus and see the wolf looking right back at me, finally. His eyes are full of worry and regret, and I can tell that everyone knows that Cassius has won. My stomach drops, and I realize that what I've been terrified of happening all month is actually happening. We've lost. I can only stare at Neferu's muscular arm as it pulls me toward the doors, toward an unknown and unwanted future.
Lupus.
After all this time, after everything we've done, we've lost.
Amicus.
Neferu pauses. I look up at the ceiling, toward where I always imagined Com to be if he were real. Then I look back at the throne.
Adrotai. Amicus.
Amicus looks just as shocked as I am. Cassius, meanwhile, has his jaw set grimly. As always, I can't read Cato.
Lux. Amicus. Jabi. Amicus.
What the hell is going on? It just seemed like everyone thought Cassius was going to win, and if it was all based on performance, then he should be winning.
Tricely. Amicus.
There's a pause, one that has me realizing that we just... won? Did we really just win?
Adastra.
Cato is staring straight ahead with his visor, and now I can see his paws gripping into the armrests of his throne. The silence goes on so long that Com asks again.
Adastra.
Cato lets the silence continue for several more seconds before finally opening his muzzle.
Cassius.
I don't know what to think, but Com immediately responds.
The trial has been decided. Amicus is the victor.
The silence that follows this time is deafening. No one cheers, no one moves. Even Virginia's fan is frozen, as if we're all stuck in a picture. All the while, the cameras continue to hover over our heads, each one of them flashing green for a moment. Finally, Com is again the one to break the silence.
This concludes the second trial. Thank you.
With that, the camera lights turn off completely, and the drones hover up toward the compartment in the ceiling. The lights come back on. As they do, Neferu is once again pulling me toward the doors. I want to hold back and watch, but the jackal is insistent, and the next thing I know, the doors are quietly sliding open, and we're walking into the equally silent, though much less tense atmosphere of the marble halls. Where are we going? We just won! As I say that, I feel the excitement finally replace the shock. We won! Neferu, we
Clearly, but that does not mean you're safe yet.
What? Neferu is quiet for a moment, at this point the jackal having let go of my hand, allowing me to just follow behind him. What even happened? Who do you think should have won, Marco? I frown. Does that matter? The triumvirates decided. Amicus won. True, but not just the triumvirates were watching. We all know who should have won. I feel myself getting defensive. Cassius was being a total asshole, and besides, he cheated. He went over his allowed time and referenced Amicus and his points. Nefero laughs mirthlessly. The rules do not matter. I'm sure you've probably realized that by now. Cassius did exactly as he should have, but he lost because of you. What? The triumvirates clearly made their decisions long before the trial. We were hoping that they would not go against the will of the people, but Cassius's performance forced them to. You're talking about the rumor about Cassius getting rid of them? That would be the one. I had thought that such a clearly lopsided win on Cassius's part would have deterred at least most of them. Their hunger for power is insatiable, it seems. Again, I feel myself getting defensive, but there's also a sense of worry creeping in. Well, I don't know. I think Amicus did great. Besides, it's their role to keep the Emperor's power in check anyway, isn't it? Yes, but that's not the point of the trials, and the people know that. Adastra will not be happy about this. Well, what does that mean then? We come to a stop in front of Amicus's room, and finally, the jackal turns to face me. That I cannot tell you. I am not an expert on the politics of Adastra. I am simply a student here. Amicus may have won this battle, but I can guarantee that the power struggle is far from over. Amicus can explain more to you when he arrives. For now, wait for him in his room. The jackal starts to turn to leave, but seems to notice the confused and probably worried look on my face. He pauses, then sits upon my shoulder. Do not fret too much over this. It is par for the course in Wolven politics. That much I do know. Drama is their identity, and we can only be along for the ride. Nefero smiles at me. Amicus will keep you safe. And if there's a need you have that he cannot fulfill, I'm also here. I know Nefero intends for that to sound salacious, but I also think he means it in a nice way. I put my hand on his paw. Thanks. The jackal nods at me before turning away to walk up the hall, probably toward his own room. Once he's out of sight, I press my hand to the panel and walk into Amicus's room, sitting on the sofa to wait. It's strange. Amicus won, but it doesn't exactly feel that way after what Nefero just told me. Amicus didn't genuinely win. We'd won because of a rumor, basically making the entire trial thing pointless. Still, I can't exactly feel bad about that.
Cassius bugged this very room to show footage of Amicus fucking Nefero.
I close my eyes, rubbing them with a hand as I realize how much that might have damaged Amicus's reputation. Not only do the people realize this trial was decided from the beginning by corrupt triumvirates, but also that their soon-to-be emperor had sex with a male. A Chamaean male at that. But again, Cassius losing because of his intention to get rid of one of the few checks on his power seems like karma to me. Weren't they keeping the Emperor's power in check by making the decision that they did? Technically, Amicus will become Emperor now, though I guess it won't be official until Cassius actually concedes the third trial. I turned these thoughts over and over in my head for the next 20 minutes, a bit annoyed by the fact that even though I got exactly what I wanted, several issues had come with it. Suddenly, the door slides open, and I forget my worry for just a moment as I see Amicus standing there. He only gets a few steps into the room before I'm already there, wrapping my arms around his body as I hug him. Whoa! Hey, Marco. Everything all right? The wolf sets a heavy paw on my head, rubbing the pads gently against my scalp. Are you? Of course. Amicus smiles down at me warmly, but having known him this long, I know that's not exactly true. Well, we won. We did. He's quiet for a bit, continuing to rub my head. This isn't really how I imagined it would go. Amicus laughs softly. Neither did I. But we did win. And that's the important part. Amicus hugs me tightly again. Is what Cassius did what he showed? How bad was that? Amicus grimaces.
Bad. But I'll find a way to get through that. Seems my first job as Emperor will be rebuilding my image.
When do you become Emperor?
As soon as Cassius gives up. I don't think he's in the mood to do that quite yet, though.
We stand there for a while, Amicus continuing to stroke my head as I lean it against his chest, listening to the soft beat of his heart. I'm just glad it's over.
I feel the same.
So, what next?
Well, for now I must go to the city. The triumvirates requested the Imperial family be seen at once.
Oh, why?
Well, everyone assumes the trial is to be over. They'd like to discuss things with the family before they leave Adastra for their own cities.
I see.
They also requested that you go.
I lean back to look up at the wolf. Really?
Yes, though I told them not to expect it. I know you wanted to see the city, but it's up to you. Well, it won't be the actual city, just the district where the delegates live. Things are a bit chaotic in the city center at the moment.
Chaotic?
The citizens are excited after the trial.
Ah. I imagine excited means angry. I could, but doing official stuff seems kind of scary.
You wouldn't have to do anything, just look happy to be there, but it's up to you.
Would it help you?
Possibly. I would certainly be happy to have you there.
Then sure. The wolf's eyebrows go up in surprise.
Oh, really? Well, all right then. Let's go.
Now?
Yes, I believe the others are already in the chariot. Are you ready?
I think so, unless I need to bring anything.
Not at all. And sorry, I know things are moving fast at the moment. It's to be expected after the trial, but we can talk in private when we get back. All right?
Okay. Amicus is already turning to pull me along, but I stop him. When he turns, I do what I'd wanted to do since right before the trial started, and I kiss him on the lips.